Later, I'll learn it's a Toyota with terrorists.
Policemen are shooting from both sides of the car against this pickup. The bullets are coming to us. Suddenly, a young couple jump from the bushes, wearing party clothes, which is unusual in this situation.
They were hiding here in the bushes. They jumped and they ran here to the road where all the shooting are. So immediately we opened the door and we said, come in, come in.
They're barefoot, and they said, help us. And they are very, very afraid.
What happened? And they shaking. We said we were in a party. Many terrorists came. They slaughtered everybody.
The party was the Nova Festival.
One of my cousins from my dad's side, he's actually one of the producers of the Nova Festival. 7 of us from my family decided to go to the Nova Festival. I was gonna bring my son, Raphael. My mom said, you know what, just leave him with us, it's already late. We ended up leaving him, thank God. Thousands of beautiful young people, and everyone just welcomed us in. Strangers, they walked up to my dad. That was just my dad. He was like a magnet to everyone, male, female, children, older people, like everyone loved him. Good, 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 like almost too good to be true energy. And I saw that like the sun was about to rise. And then I look up and I tell my dad, I'm like, wow, look, they're fireworks. And then my husband and my dad both look at me and they're pale as pale can be. And then like I understood that they weren't fireworks. He ran to the car and I'm sending messages in the family group chat that there's rockets. And I'm probably not gonna be home soon. And I'm telling my mom to take care of my son. After like 8 minutes, my dad sees a bomb shelter and he stops the car. And I was really upset. And I was trying to grab the keys out of his hands.
You wanted to keep going.
I was telling him what are the possibilities that a rocket is gonna, if a rocket needs to fall on top of our car and we're supposed to die, fine. But like, what are you scared of? And he wasn't having it. And he told me to get inside the bomb shelter. And then I started getting text messages from my sister in Los Angeles. She's telling me, Danielle, there's a war. There's terrorists flooded the streets of Israel. Don't leave where you are. I couldn't feel my body. I'm just in complete shock.
You don't leave anyone behind you. It's not a hard decision.
Gali and Noam ended up taking the couple that were at the Nova Festival to a safer place.
We just said, okay, let's rescue them.
So for this moment, your son had to take the back seat to these 2 people who were actually in your back seat, and you had to drive them out of harm's way.
Yes, we drove them where we saw a police car, and then we decided to go on a different road.
Driving back towards the death zone.
I was in combat all my life. I saw many bodies. This was, part of my profession. I never saw something like this in my lifetime. So many, many, many cars on the ditches, and it's all full of bodies. Bodies of young people, women, couples, inside the car. Burning cars, bodies, bodies, bodies. Crazy. And then, suddenly my dream. 3 armored vehicles full of Yamam, the best anti-terror team in
Israel
Israel.
SWAT team.
Yeah, coming to the junction. So I coming to them and I said, please, take me to Kibbutz Nachal Oz. There are terrorists in my son's house. The commander hesitated. And then one brave guy, by the name of Avi, he said, I know Noam from the military. I'm going to help you. But your wife needs to stay here. So we left Gali alone in the shelter.
While the shelter provided temporary safety for Gali, for Danielle, it was the beginning of a nightmare.
Thank God for this shelter, and then also what a death trap. My dad walks in, he takes me and my husband literally by my shoulder, like pulls me into the shelter. At this point, all I'm saying is my son's name and that I want to go home. He said, you want to go home? You want to see Rafael? Terrorists will come in here, they're going to shoot everyone in front. They're not going to shoot to the left. Don't move from this corner. So we're all standing like sardines. And then I hear my dad calling all the men in the shelter to come to the front. It left my body. I'm not really sure what happened. You hear the shootings from outside. You hear them getting closer and closer and closer. Like a million bullets. They threw in 2 grenades. And my dad jumped on one. And then they came in and they just shot everyone. They shot me in my leg. And I'm telling my husband I'm shot. I'm calling my dad, telling him, Abba, I'm shot. My husband started taking more bodies on top of me so that even if they throw more grenades or anything else, like a shield. I begged him to go to my dad. He crawled over people. He made it to my dad. He shook his head to me. And then it was like a waiting game. A million bullets, more grenades. You just feel like in the movies, an explosion and everyone flies back. Except you don't fly back. You're just there.
How many grenades did they throw into that shelter?
9. And I'm the only one in the middle, alive. Everyone around me, on top of me, below me, in front and back of me is dead. They put a tire in the hallway of this bomb shelter and they lit it on flames so that we would choke.
What are you thinking? Are you thinking maybe the whole country is overrun?
Yeah, to the point where I'm praying that if my son and my mom and my sisters are going to die, that it's just quick. In the last hour inside the shelter, I was talking to my son and I said, come get me out of here. Come get your dad out of here. Your name is Rafael, angel of recovery. You're gonna come here. You're gonna get us out of here.
As Hamas poured from Gaza into Israel's south that day, pinning down the IDF, civilians were left to fend off the attackers themselves. Danielle's dad had sacrificed his life to save hers. And Noam finally arrived near his son's kibbutz.
Kibbutz Nachal Oz was attacked by 3 waves. More than 500 people from Gaza entered the kibbutz. 1:15 p.m., we were the first Israeli force at the gate of Kibbutz Nachal Oz. We are under very, very heavy fire by the terrorists. I was fighting for my life. Around 4:15, I saw my son's house.
We're talking 10 hours after the attack.
Yeah. And the door was locked. It gave me a lot of hope when I saw that the door is locked. From all the houses that I searched, if the door was locked, inside there is live people. If the door is open, blood and no people, or blood and bodies.
To the window of the shelter room. Knocking, said, Amir, the Abba. And then I heard Galia said, Sababa.
Grandpa here, my oldest granddaughter, said, this was a very emotional moment. I felt I fulfilled my mission.
Everyone says I'm like my dad, so I try as much as I can to be loud and to be happy. You promised Rafael that if he saved us, that I would continue to be me. So on good days,
There were moments, I think, if they're not alive, I don't think there is any point to my life. And we're the lucky ones.
Gali and Noam rescued their son Amir and his family. Danielle and her husband made it back to see their baby. But so many were not as lucky. Around 1,200 Israelis died on October 7th. It was the largest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. And still, a year later, the nightmare continues for many families. Hamas took more than 250 hostages into Gaza. Around 100 remain in captivity. Hamas's reign of terror on October 7th would lead Israel into its longest war, where Palestinians in Gaza are left to pay the ultimate price. In Gaza, the roars of the jets and the crashing of bombs has often drowned out the desperate cries for help.
Airstrikes above us, and they are close. We can hear them. Yes. These are one of the bombs.
The situation is very hard. No words can describe what we are living right now. Things are getting worse day by day.
In the first weeks of the war, 22-year-old Tala Herzala documented her life under siege for ABC News.
I have only one question. We as civilians, where are we supposed to go?
Tala's fight for survival began when Hamas terrorists brutally murdered 1,200 Israelis and kidnapped hundreds more on October 7th. For days, Israel was in chaos, the IDF still trying to clear southern towns of infiltrators.